Hey guys, I'm Daisho, and I'm here bringing you some magic, and today I'm going to bring you not a deck guide of Master of the Dimir. And the reason that I'm calling it that instead of the deck guide is because I just really don't know how to run this deck, so if you have any better ideas how to run it, I'm all ears. But this is just how I'm running it right now. And yeah, I am just not a big fan of this deck. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. I mean, it's a deck that's built on gaining tempo and removing their threats, making them discard them even before they can cast them, and it just never works out. I mean, the discard spells aren't good enough, the removal isn't good enough, so that if they do land a threat, you can't really take care of it too efficiently. And the creatures that are supposed to be really valuable, that are supposed to be full of value and help you out, just aren't that good. So I just find this deck to be utterly terrible, and it's just nowhere near as powerful as a lot of the other decks in the game. So I mean, I guess I'll just go through each card individually and say why I included it. So Thought Scour, I had 3 of them. I mean, they cycle so you can get to your win conditions, which there aren't very many of in the deck. And yeah, that's fine. You can also mill them, which actually has some value since there's cards like Chittering Rats and Time Ebb that put the cards on the top of their library. So if they're not careful, then they might lose a card that they actually wanted, especially with Chittering Rats. So you always have to make sure you put a bad card on the top of your library if they have a blue open after they cast Chittering Rats. Anyway, Dimir Guildmage. I mean, this card's really powerful, but it takes a while to get it going. That being said, it is a 2/2 for 2, and this deck needs some sort of creature to murder its opponents. So yeah, this guy's a 2-mana 1/1 flyer. That power toughness and plus ability just is not good enough for me. But I mean, it does have, when it dies, you can draw a card, so it's decent at stalling. I mean, you just throw it in front of something, hopefully something with 1 toughness that it dies and trades, and then you can draw a card, and that works out sometimes. But maybe it can get together with a Ravenous Rats and double block something down. Obviously, rats are okay, and they're better in a deck that has a lot of discard, but this deck doesn't have that much discard. It just seems like it should. Anyway, Counter Squall is a pretty good spell, and a lot of times it'll get you out of some sticky situations or provide you with some comfort when you need it. Anyway, all 4 last gasps. I can't see anyone running this deck without all the removal. It's kind of unfortunate that they didn't give this deck good removal, but I mean, it's not the worst removal ever printed, so I guess that's something. Chittering Rats is an amazing tempo play when you are playing with a real deck, but this deck just isn't very good most of the time, and Chittering Rats only does a little bit to help. Anyway, Threads of Disloyalty is good against some decks, bad against others. You can steal their Champion of the Parishes after they're pretty big, or it's a decent way to deal with something like Gravecrawler. You just steal it and then they don't have it anymore. But it just seems like it's better in different formats. Like when you can take a Tarmogoyf, it seems a little bit better than when you're stealing a Butcher Ghoul. I don't know. Then there's this card. You can either draw 2 or make them discard 2. I like the options. I like the fact that it's only 1 blue-black, so it's not really that hard to cast anyway. Time Ebb is okay. Sorcery speed, but you can get rid of some enchantments this way, and you can get rid of some counters. It only costs 3 mana. It's not so few, but it's also not that many. A couple of Divinations help smooth out your draws, get you to your cards that you need that you can win the game. Mind Rot. Like, again, there's some element of discard in this deck, but really not enough. Then there's Evil Twin, which is a sweet card, and when it gets going, it's really fun, but it's pretty slow. Sometimes it's really useful, though. And then you got 3 4/4 flyers for 4 that start hurting you every turn, but sometimes these things can just take over the game and win. And then what I did is, because I really couldn't win with this deck at all, is I tossed in a couple of these Illusionary Armors, which give a creature +4/+4, so make it virtually unblockable, or like they have to chump block it or whatever. And then when it becomes a target of a spell or ability, when the creature does, then you just have to sacrifice this. So if they're going to target it with a spell or ability often enough, they would be able to remove it anyway, and since it's an aura, I mean, I don't know, but it just gives you the necessary punch to actually win some games. And then Sleep can also help you either by knocking their blockers out for a couple, or their attackers out for their blockers out for a couple of turns, or buying you an extra turn. And then there's like Necropolis Regent, which is funny because this deck seems like it was supposed to be really grindy and just play value creatures and some removal and some discard and draw cards until you get to a point where you can cast some bombs. But the main issue is all the bombs in this deck are terrible. I mean, this is the only one that's actually good. All the others are most remotely decent. Like Dimir is a fine card, and it's a fine limited card, but these Vidalcan Dismissers are just not very powerful. Vengeful Vampire wasn't even that good in Innistrad block limited. Smog Elemental was just, again, not very impressive in its block. Stolen Identity is a very good card, but I just don't think it's at its best in this format. Guardian of the Ages is not powerful. Diluvian Primordial is okay, but it costs 7, and if you're casting a 7-mana spell in Duels of the Planeswalkers, it better be something really impressive, because, I mean, I don't know, sometimes that's worth it. But then there's like Mind Leech Mask, which is just an 8-mana spell that gives you like a 6/6 trample that barely does anything. And I mean, occasionally it can win you games, but a lot of the times it wouldn't. And then there's Avatar of Will, where, I mean, if this was a dedicated discard deck and it was running stuff like Hymn to Torok and just really, really good discard spells, then I would think of playing it. But it just doesn't have that many discard spells in this deck. So anyway, let's get into a match and play some Magic. I'm not really looking forward to these games because I just don't like this deck. I don't think it's powerful, anywhere nearly as powerful as the other decks in the format. And I mean, just try playing against Avacyn's Glory with this deck. You'll lose 9 times out of 10, and no matter how you run it. So we're gonna have to mulligan this one. Oh yeah, and that's another thing, is all the other decks are really synergistic. This one is a keep. A lot of the other decks are really synergistic, and they only have one color. You have to you have to play 2 colors, and you still don't have any synergy. So anyway, there is a Grizzle Blues. I drew an island, but I think I want to play that out, and I'm probably going to go get an island so that I can cast my Threads of Disloyalty on time if I need to. So that way I can either steal a Lord of the Unreal or kill one of his creatures. That's pretty much what Threats of Disloyalty is best at, killing an illusion. But the turn 1 Grizzle Blues into turn 2 Lord is obviously a really powerful play. People have been doing it for a long time, but you know, hopefully we can take it. We're gonna have to take 3 there, obviously, and then we're going for a blue. And unless I draw a swamp here, I'm just going to be playing out my 2/2. Not a swamp. Unless I draw a last word, I'm going to be playing out this Dimir Guildmage. And next turn, I'm going to be able to steal his Lord, and hopefully like double block something or block something or whatever. But the real issue is that if he plays a flyer here, I have nothing in my hand that can deal with it. Krovikan Mist is a flyer indeed. And oh, that's kind of annoying, because I really don't want that thing to be a 3/3. I don't really have a good way of dealing with a 3/3, so I'm just gonna have to take another 3 damage here, and unless I draw a last thing, nope. Alright, so we're just going to have to see. If I don't do this, then I take another 6 damage. And I don't really have a good play. It's not like playing another Dimir Guildmage is going to be any better. I guess it'll actually be fine since I can just double block the bear. So we'll do that. Oh no! I just ruined the entire strategy, which was to... Alright, that was a really dumb play. Sorry about that. Oh god, that was awful. Now I have to deal with this thing as a 3/3 instead of just a 2/2. And, man, that was a really bad play. I meant to just Thought Scour first, that way it would become a 1/1. 2/2 for the Lord of the Unreal, but... Alright, so my opponent is at 2 cards left in hand. He's not even attacking me. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Alright. Let us draw a card. Well, there's a decent... I meant to mill him. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so actually I do want to just cast this on the Lord. And that resolved, so that's nice. And this way, I can actually cast Threads of Disloyalty on Krovikan Mist next turn, take it, and then I guess I'll have a 1/1. I don't know, maybe Evil Twin will get down later, copy it, make them both 2/2s. Wait, it's actually... Oh, it's Illusions on the battlefield, so it'll stay a 3/3. Did he pull the, oops, I accidentally attacked before playing my spells? No, doesn't look like it. Alright, so could just play my evil twin right now. Yeah, he's not gonna attack. Alright, so maybe we have stabilized. And though I did make that terrible play, if I lose by 1 life or to one of these stupid Veiled Sentry things, and I'm going to be upset. But I mean, I'm really hoping he's not drawing Unsummon or Frost Breath or Claustrophobia. Those cards are really, really bad for me. So it doesn't look like he has anything. I don't know. Maybe he will make the trade just because, yeah. Because this is a situation where I actually would have rather had Clone. Alright, so Disorient, really, dude? Alright, that's not even that bad for me. Like, that's how bad of a card Disorient is. Man, do I want to cast the Mind Rot on him right now. Or what I really want to do is just start chittering ratsing him. But I can't do that yet because I need to get rid of the threat before I do that. And it looks like he doesn't have anything to play again. So I'm just gonna basically Chittering Rats him for the next couple of turns while I start beating him down. Hopefully I'll draw another land. Oh, he's got a counter for me. Nope, doesn't look like it. Alright. And it's not really that worth it to attack with the Dimir Guildmage, so probably just trade off creatures, and then my Krovikan Mist will get weaker. So I can play a Mind Rot now. Yeah, I guess that'll work. Alright, Mind Rot you. He's still got a counter, I guess, in hand, but trying to decide if it's worth it. Okay, he decided not to. And he discarded 2 gigantic expensive spells. See, that's why my opponent is still in this game, because he has these super expensive spells that ooh, another Chittering Rats. Or Chittering Rats Thought Scour combo is what I meant. Put something on top. Then again, I don't even want to mill him here, because obviously he can't do anything with that card. Whatever it is. Probably should just be attacking with everything, but I'll just send these 3. Yeah, I'd kind of want him to draw the top card of his library, though, because he hasn't been able to do anything for a couple turns. So he's just going to trade off both of his creatures, which is not so bad for me, even though I do shrink my Krovikan Mist, because alright, he's got nothing again. So I guess I'll mill him now. But those were Illusionary Servant and Counterspell. Nice. So he's got 2 cards in hand. Alright, there is the card that I'm going to play this turn. He's not an illusion, right? Vampire illusion. As much as I want to just keep him off stuff, I think I want to cast this. Alright, so he's maybe still got a counterspell in hand. Alright, Dream Fracture. It's actually really bad for me. Oh, well, we drew a spell that we can play, so that's nice. You can't counter anything. He might have drawn an Unsummon so he can get back his Krovikan Mist, but it's not too powerful right now. Alright, so he's drawn the 5th land, which may or may not be relevant. We'll find out. Right, there's a Jace's Phantasm. That is very relevant, because it makes my Krovikan Mist bigger. Oh yeah, and it also gives him a 5/5. Hey! We drew the perfect card. And he's got another counter for me. Well, that's unfortunate. That would have been a nice situation. Alright, well, we're restocking. And I have my Dimir Guildmage, so if he doesn't play anything, I mean, if he attacks, then I can just throw this thing in front of it, and, you know, we'll be okay. Alright, so he just drew land. Perfect. That means that I can draw a couple of cards with my Dimir Guildmage, and hopefully find an answer to this silly little Phantasm. Alright, he's just going to charge in. So obviously I'm going to block here just because I can cycle this guy, and if I don't block this turn, then I have to... what is this? Oh. Hello. So yeah, that's just game. Illusionary armor. Does this thing make it an illusion? No, that would have been sweet. But anyway, I'm not even going to bother explaining this stupid little sprite play, but yeah, that was... What did he have to say? GG. Oh, I just missed it. But I can't believe that I came back from that. It was really just because my opponent had so many cards in his hand that he couldn't cast and that didn't do anything. But, I don't know. Worked out. Maybe him not countering the chittering rats was pretty important. Alright, he beast out. But let's try and get one more game here. See if we can beat an opponent who is a little bit more competent. No offense, but I mean, he just made some really bad plays that if it were a better player with the same draw, I think that there's very little chance that I would have lost or would have won that game. But I did draw the perfect cards at the perfect time, so that was nice. Alright, we can keep this one. Again, this deck doesn't do that much, so I've got 4 lands and 3 spells, and yet the most powerful thing that I can do is just play a Ravenous Rat. So my opponent's on the mulligan, so alright, he's already down to 5. That's just really unfortunate. And when you get down to the 3 and the 2 area, you are about to see your opponent quit the game. Although if this deck can't even... Oh, there he goes. Let's see, you have to say GG. Alright, so let's just quit this one too. Get out of here, stupid chat. Let's just quit this one and find a new game. But I mean, if my opponent did like have to mulligan to 6 or something like that, then that would put me in a much better position because my discard will actually be that much more relevant. Like, I don't know, like 15% more relevant or something like that. Whatever 1/7 is. I'm bad at math. It's hard to do math in your head on the spot, but anyway. What you got, bro? This hand is kind of terrible, but we have both colors, and we have some spells, so we're going to keep. And this is the only time I'm ever going to say this, but I kind of hope he goes Champion of the Parish and Together the Townsfolk. You too. Alright, so he's playing Burn, and it's not that good that he's gotten a threat out already, and that my major win condition is also helping his major win condition, and that starts killing me. But at least I do have Counter Squall. That's a really good card against him because he plays a lot of Burn. So yeah, there's that. If I ever get to 6 mana, there's that guy. So he's attacking. He hasn't played a land yet, but that very well could just mean he has 1 second main. Or, yeah, alright. And thank God, I was about to say, and he's got a Kiln Fiend, of course. But no Kiln Fiend. Alright, somebody's ringing my doorbell. But, again, now we're hoping for a Sulfuric Vortex or a Seismic Assault. Something that I can counter. Just want to get some value out of this card. I guess, yeah, alright. No, that would be fine. Either of those two. So, I mean, taking this 2 damage from these Arsonists is not great, but worse things have happened. So, let's get our flyer out there. We got land drop 5 in hand. We've got a sleep also, so if he does play something threatening, or we also have Last Gasp. I don't know. I mean, this game seems sort of winnable at this point. My opponent still has a whole bunch of cards in hand. But the same thing is going wrong that I thought would, which is just that I'm killing myself. It's not how I want to be running this deck. But I'm just going to attack on in here, and yeah, that was just a mistake on your part. Very big mistake. He should have done that on his turn. That not only just to avoid this situation, but also so that he could attack. Because he just gave up 2 damage by waiting until my turn to do this. It was just a really bad play on his part to wait till my turn. And that's just a mentality that people get in, which is just, hey, my card says instant on it, I have to cast it instantly. I mean, he could have been playing around something like, oh, well, if he casts Illusionary Armor, then I want to do that, but his draw is particularly strong to Illusionary Armor anyway. So there's that Seismic Assault that I was so graciously hoping that he would play a turn ago. But fortunately, I am 1 turn away from winning, because all I have to do is play my Necropolis Regent and then attack him with this thing. Oh, he's got 2 lands to discard. That's not so bad, actually, because that means that he's got nothing left in hand. He's got 1 spell left in hand, or 1 land left in hand. But it does mean that Seismic Assault, if he had just dropped that on turn 3, that would have been sick for me. But, yeah, we still got this Necropolis Regent. I think I'm going to block one of these things this turn. No, I'm not going to block. Because I don't want to bring my thing to within where 2 lands could destroy it, and I have a sleep for next turn anyway, and the damage could just go straight to my face, so it seems pretty pointless. Oh man, that is really close to just killing him. But let's cast this sleep. Say goodnight. And charge on in there. So he's got to have something. Alright, it doesn't look like he's got anything. And now he's basically got to kill me next turn, or the game is over. Just because Necropolis Regent is that much of a boss. But he didn't have a particularly aggressive start, and alright, there's that. I see so many cards in hand. I guess he had 2 last turn, and then he just drew 1, so that makes 3. And he's got a Pillar of Flame. GG. GG. Ha! Did we just win 2 games with this thing? Alright, so we only had... Oh, he did have 1 land and a Pillar of Flame. So, that means that... Oh my god, that's so cute. LOL. That means that if he had... Let's kill this in response. If I had blocked, then I wouldn't have won this game. Because, I mean, it's just as simple as that. Wouldn't be completely over, but pretty much I would have lost, because he would have been able to Pillar of Flame and discard a land to end up killing my Necropolis Regent, and then I wouldn't have had any threat on board, and he would have been able to kill me. So that was actually a really good play, I guess. I don't know, but I won 2 games. I'm going to stop there because, I don't know, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to be able to win 2 games in a row with this deck anytime soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and have fun playing with this deck. That's all you can really expect. You're not gonna go on crazy winning streaks with it, I don't think, at least. I mean, maybe somebody can run it perfectly and pilot it to perfection, but that person is definitely not me. So this is the best I can do, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video anyway. Have a wonderful day. Bye.